What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Journey Podcast.
Welcome back to the Journey Miami cast.
Um, we're out here, out in Miami on the water. Pretty nice view behind both of us. This is my last day in Miami for the short term. And this has been dope, bro. This has really been cool.
It's been a fucking stellar week. You know, in the book, The Science of Getting Rich, it says to live a successful life, every single day needs to be a successful one. And bro, we fucking knocked out of the park every single day.
Yeah, this was probably our most productive week that we've had in a long time, you know,
Yeah.
because you would come home here and there and we'd have 3 or 4 days and try to do all these things in a short amount of time.
Right.
And this kind of gave us some breathing room to like really knock things off the checklist.
Right.
And bro, this was a really successful week for us, and I think like we'll look back and be like, this was the week. This was like the pivotal moment in our career, right? In our journey that is gonna take us over the hump. And this was really cool experience, bro. Miami is a great place to live.
Yeah, so I want to like overall, I guess like kind of paint how you feel. I know we just said that this was an amazing week, but kind of paint how you feel about the week.
Yeah.
You know, how things went, you know, what your impressions of Miami are.
Yeah, I honestly, bro, going back, you know, thinking back to this trip, I think the main thing that I'm going to take away from this trip is I gained a lot stronger belief in God and the universe. I've always believed in God. I've always believed in a higher power, but I always did question it because of what happened to me when I was a kid.
Right.
So me losing my mom, I always questioned like why. You know, it never makes sense. And this week, the way the things just all kind of aligned and happened to us with perfect divine timing and us missing out on something, so then the next thing happened. And I mean, bro, there was probably 9 or 10 times that we would look at each other in just disbelief and awe. And
Yeah.
like our eyebrows are raised and our eyes are wide open. And we're just like, holy shit, like, how is all of this happening?
What the fuck? Yeah.
Like what is going on? A lot of it was like unbelievable things, and in the, you know, from the outside looking in, it may not be like these massive moves, right? But behind the scenes, bro, we're just fucking putting all the pieces
I think from
together.
the outside in, it is massive moves. With the Steve will do it thing.
Yeah, it was fucking chopper. No. Yeah, from the the Steve will do it. Happy dad, absolutely. But I'm saying like in the short term, like we haven't like reaped the benefits of those like cool things that happened to us so far.
Mm-hmm.
But just the smallest little things, it just made me realize that we serve a much bigger purpose, right? Like this podcast goes way deeper than just followers and likes. We're really like leaving an impact, and the messages. I mean, probably this week alone, we've gotten well over 100 messages.
Like long messages.
Yeah, long messages, people being vulnerable. So that's one thing that I took from Miami, and then, bro, Miami. This is like a networking melting pot.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, the sauna, the hotel elevator, the apartment elevator, the coffee shop, downtown, the barber shop. Everywhere you go, you're running into someone that can connect you with another person. And it just seems like everyone out here is like, at least the people that we've ran into, because we've seen both sides of it, right? We've seen the people that have already made it, and they're a little reluctant to help, right? They're a little reluctant to put their name associated with us. Mm-hmm. But then a lot of the other people that are kind of still grinding and still trying to figure it out, they're more than welcome, you know, more than open to helping us and trying to, you know, put us in a position that betters us, and, you know, because they might see potential in us and we might be able to help them in the long run or on the back end. Right. So I think that's been really cool about Miami too. And then, you know, obviously just the beautiful weather, just waking up and getting sun at 7, 8 in the morning, right on the balcony, looking out into a beautiful view on the water. Everything's pretty much like walking distance. Yeah. So it's been cool, bro. Definitely a cool experience. My first time in Miami. And this trip was 100% worth it.
Yeah, it's crazy how quick your mind can change. And it's crazy how much time you could spend worrying about something to then find the answer later on, and for the answer to just present itself, you know? Like, I was supposed to leave I was really intensively planning on leaving Miami and like potentially never coming back. That's how I guess uh, turned off I was to Miami until you got here, and I realized that, sometimes in life, it's not necessarily where you are. Where you are isn't necessarily the thing that's holding you back. It's how you are living where you are, how you're doing, how are you attacking your current circumstances. I felt with you here this week, I mean, we crushed it. We really did. Like, we crushed it. Like, things were I realized that I actually really like Miami. I just didn't like the Miami that I was kind of living. And also it does help that um being here and kind of having more of a purpose now. I felt like when I was in Miami for the first like year and a half, I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off, and it was very taxing and stressful. The past year and a half, I really feel like I got a bunch of gray hair out of nowhere. It's been a crazy. It sucks to live without. That's why I believe in purpose so much, because bro, it sucks to live without one. It's terrible to live without purpose. You don't know. You wake up and you don't have anything to do. So now that we have this podcast, I mean, we've been speaking so much about it. It's such a beautiful thing that it seems like every single conversation leads back to the podcast. Every single decision that we make leads back to the podcast. And maybe that's not a good thing if you don't want to be like unidimensional, but I want this podcast to be the best thing in the world. So I'm just happy having you here and being able to attack this thing 5,000% with you. And I think this week, this week was incredible. There was just so many things that we did this week that is really helping our growth, and I'm excited. I'm finally in the position now where I only have the podcast.
Yeah.
I was trying to leave the videography space for a while, and I'm finally out. I'm out so much so that I had like some videography projects that I decided to just refund them their money, like thousands of dollars, which I don't really have, but I'd rather, be low in my bank account and have full time to pursue something I love than have no time to do the thing I love and have money. I think that's a mistake that a lot of people make, is they have all this money and they have no time. So they're stuck in this rat race of consistently doing things they don't want to do, but then having money and not even being able to spend it. Like, people die with, at the highest level, people die with like billions and billions of dollars. And it's like, what was life for? All you did was, you were just busy all the time. It's fucked. But anyway.
No, bro, I'm 100% in agreement with that. Money, we spoke about it earlier today, where money makes everything better.
Yeah.
Money allows you to buy time. You can never get time back, but money gives you to have the freedom of what you want to do with your time. And then once you have that time and you have a purpose, life gets a lot better. Because for us, we've both been trying to figure it out for so long. You thought it was football, I thought it was basketball. Then you got into videography, and then, I kind of started the podcast, but I didn't really see a lane where it would ever make sense or be able to make a career out of it.
Right.
And then that's why you gotta just trust what's happening all the time, because we never really fought what was happening or went against the grain. We kind of just went down the river, right? Like that saying, don't swim against the river. And it's been something for us that has been life changing.
Yeah. We picked something. I think that's why we're kind of flourishing in our life, is that we chose a lane. There was some lane independent of the normal 9 to 5 that we chose. And I think that's something that people get wrong a lot of times, is, a lot of people complain about, for like the viewers, like I'm sure a lot of you guys complain about not knowing what your purpose is, not having a purpose, being confused, being conflicted. And it's just because you're not, I feel like you have to just pick something. You have to try something, and in that process you'll realize, hey, I like this thing or I don't like this thing. Yeah. And oftentimes your original idea looks so different from, the idea 5 years down the line. And I think that's what we've done is honestly, the cool thing about what we've done is that this wasn't stressful at all. It's almost like The Alchemist. It's like the whole point of that book is the dude goes on this huge journey to get to the end, to realize the end is where he started. And it's like for us, like our purpose was right underneath our nose the entire time. So for other people and the people watching this podcast, it's like how many people, how like our purpose is probably smacking you in the face and you're just not even paying attention to it.
Yeah, I think that's the first thing I usually tell people when people ask us, how do I find my purpose? How do I figure out what I want to do in life? I mean, the first thing, what do you like to do? What are you good at? Yeah. And I think some people forget about those things of what they actually enjoy doing because society has taught you that you really can't make money doing the things you love. Society has taught you that you do have to go and work under someone and work your way up and work up the totem pole, and it doesn't have to be that way. Yeah. And you have to understand that when you decide to do what you want to do, that you speak about it all the time, it's never going to be easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hot take, right? Like that's one of your favorite things to say, but we've spoke about it that people think when like there's this misconception of following your dream that it doesn't require hard work. And I look at a 9 to 5 and to me that's kind of easy. Yeah. They tell you when you have to be here, they give you an agenda for the day, they tell you when you can go on your lunch break, and then they tell you when you go home. And then everything is written for you. Yeah. And sure, maybe your day was hard, but when you're an entrepreneur, it's nonstop. It's 24/7. The phones are ringing. The networking is going on. There's stuff going on behind the scenes all the time. Yeah. So it's a 24-hour job rather than an 8-hour slot Monday through Friday. Then you get 2 days off. We don't get days off. But the other side of that, we love what we do and we enjoy it, so it never feels like work.
Yeah.
So I think that's the main thing. If you love what you do, right? Like find something that you love to do and then maybe find something that you're good at and find a way to mesh those two together. Maybe it's not exactly what you think, but I'm sure there is some type of avenue that you can build off of that and start. That's the main thing, is starting it. Yeah. Some people are just so afraid to start. Mr. Beast's thing, it was like, yo, your first video is going to suck if you're getting into content. Nobody's going to watch it. Yep. So stop trying to think of this grand all idea and make the most viral video ever. The only people that are going to watch it is probably you and maybe a few of your friends. Nobody's going to watch it. Nobody's going to watch your 100th video, if you're still doing it by then. Yeah. So once you get into this thing of having the idea, you genuinely enjoy what you do, the first step is to start it and then just stay consistent throughout the whole thing. And that's all we've done, bro. We're 3 years in and I feel like we haven't even scratched the surface yet.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot, bro, about like kind of breaking out of that 9 to 5 mold, I've been very careful of saying the word matrix just because I thought it was so new age and meta. And I know when people hear that word, they like associate it with like Tate, and they write you off immediately. But I've been choosing to say that word, the matrix, because I'm kind of waking up to the fact that like, yo, maybe there is a matrix. Like maybe the way that normal human beings live their lives is the real matrix. It doesn't seem to me, if you look around at a majority of people, they look like they're like not even the main character in their own story. Like a lot of these people do look like NPCs, and I'm not trying to be mean. I love everyone. I want everyone to do well, but I'm saying like, dude, majority of the people that you run into aren't happy. It's just, I'll say this. Majority of the people that you run into in everyday society, they're not living like this glorious existence. And I get it. Like not everybody can live that glorious existence, but I think that if you want to live it, you certainly can. Because we are. And that's why we're speaking about it so much. Because we're breaking the mold. We're doing things that are crazy. We're around guys like Steve Will Do It. We're getting Sam Shahidi, John Shahidi's number to work on collaboration deals. We're interviewing the biggest watch dealer in the world, living in a beautiful apartment in downtown Miami overlooking the water. And I know all glitter isn't gold. I'm painting a beautiful image. But the truth is that along with all that bullshit, there is a lot of that great stuff. So that's why we're talking about breaking the 9 to 5, breaking out of the matrix, is because we're fucking doing it. Like we're living, breathing proof that if you want to live a life the best life possible, you can fucking do it. Like, you can live like this dreamful existence, bro. I've been about following my dreams before I was even into the spiritual shit, because it just didn't make sense to me that like getting good grades and getting a $2 an hour raise, like, it didn't make sense to me that those things was the end all be all and benefits. And I know again, a broken record, we keep shitting on this system, but it's like, dude, majority of the people don't know what their dream is because they're living inside the system. And the system doesn't reward knowing what your dream is, because I believe the system doesn't want you to even have a dream. I feel like society, they kind of want to keep you down. And because, hot take, a lot of these huge companies are profiting and exploiting like the everyday common people. And it's weird when we spit the good word and people shit on us. And it's like, bro, shit on people in the government. Shit on these huge corporations. Shit on them. Don't shit on us. We're everyday people just like you guys. We're following our dreams. Isn't that inspiring? And it goes to show you, like, the everyday person is broken. The way that the everyday person thinks is not the way you should be thinking. You should never look at someone that's following their dreams or trying to become successful or live a better life and say, fuck that guy. You know, that's an immediate way to know if you're in a bad place in life. If you can actually look at someone that's successful and start talking shit about them. So I just feel like, again, we're being broken records, but it's because we're waking up to the average existence isn't the only way to live. So with that being said, I want to ask you, honestly, on paper, bro, up until this point, you weren't exactly in the everyday life. You were going to go off and do something with basketball. But I've been seeing in you, bro, a lot more confidence. I see that you're waking up to what's possible. A lot of times I'm the guy that, like, will have this big goal of, like, bro, we're going to have 50 billion followers. We're going to have all this, And in the beginning, you were kind of like skeptical, but I see you turn the corner now. And when you talk to people, you're telling them, like, yo, we're about to have the biggest podcast in the world. Yo, we're about to get Gary Vee on. And when I hear you speak, I could tell you mean it. So talk to me about that shift inside you. Like, what is, like, first of all, do you really believe that we're going to do all these crazy things, one? And two, like, what's kind of allowing you to change that mindset?
Yeah, I mean, in my life, I've always tried to maintain this steady line with not getting too high on the highs or too low on the lows, and try to balance that level playing. And I look at myself as a realist, right? And I understand the social media game. We were the lab rats that started this, right? We were the first generation to live without social media, then live with social media. So I've seen like we've literally been a part of the entire transgression of Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, obviously. So I see the power in it, right? But like in the beginning of the podcast, I didn't see it going this way. Neither did you, honestly.
Yeah.
Like you weren't fully bought in yet, and until we really took it to TikTok and we saw the power of it. But I think the thing that really shifted my mind was how small these circles really are and how easy it is to infiltrate them. It's not like you think these people at the top, these people with millions of followers that you see, you got to remember these are everyday people just like you. They're not impossible to reach. Like they're not these meta humans that bro, they're just like you and I. So I think once you can realize that and be like, hey, this person at some point in their life was an everyday regular citizen just like me. They had a spark that clicked off in their brain, and they decided to act on it. They made a conscious choice. Yeah. Life comes down to choices. And you choose whether you want to be happy or not. You choose whether you want to follow a dream or not. You get to wake up every day and choose what you do with those 24 hours. So for me, I was like, I have it in my notes. I mean, I know we always say we'll throw a screenshot up. Maybe I'll be conscious enough to actually throw the screenshot up. I have the date. I believe it was sometime in 2020. I wrote in my notes and I said, I will never work for someone again, or I can't work for someone. Something along those lines. I wrote it in my notes because something just did not sit right with me that another man 6 years older than me could look at me and tell me to take out the trash, and I had to do it.
Yeah.
After that moment, something in my brain clicked, right? And then that's when I started understanding that I need to paint my picture. I need to be the main character in my life, my movie. Your life is a movie. And you get to decide what kind of character you play. Are you going to be the bystander that just walks past the superhero? Or are you going to be the Superman? Are you going to be the Iron Man of your movie?
Yeah.
And, bro, once you can make that decision, all the bullshit kind of goes away because, like I've said before, this is do or die now. It's either we do this or we don't. I either make it or I don't. There's no looking back. I can't, once you decide to follow your dreams, you can't go back and say, yeah, you know what? I will settle and I will go make this other guy a lot more money than me and trade all my time. Yeah. I can't do that. I've decided that I'm going to do this. So it all comes down to choices, bro, and decisions.
Yeah.
And that choice, it's a cliche thing, right? Like, oh, I have a choice, right? Think about how important these choices are. You get to choose what you eat or what you don't eat. You get to choose whether you go and work out. You get to choose whether you wake up at 7 a.m. or 11 a.m. You get to choose what time you go to bed. You get to choose on your phone what you spend time looking at.
Yeah.
Bro, we all have choices. Bro, living in America, think about the choices we get. This is crazy, the amount of choices and freedom that we do have. Yeah, there is all these societal standards and narratives that are put on us and get thrown our way through media, through premeditated beliefs, right, from generations before us. But you get to choose whether you feed into any of that shit. We have the choice, bro. And especially the position that we're in, we can literally do whatever the fuck we want to do. And I don't think there's a better feeling like that of not being tied down to anything.
Yeah, that is such a incredible point that I never even really thought of. That I feel like people don't even understand how. People just don't even understand how much power they really do have over their life, right? Because even if you have a job that you don't like, you could still choose what you get to eat. You could still choose the music you get to listen to, the movies that you watch, the time that you wake up, right? Like that's an incredible point. And it's like in those choices, that's how you get out of your current situation, is by choosing to do those choices in a productive, healthy manner, you know, and realizing majority of the people around you probably aren't making the best decisions with those choices, you know? And I think a lot of people think that way because, again, like we said it on the last podcast, like we're almost told, like the school system is all about like teaching us what to think and not how to think. Like it's so rigid. Like I can't even believe like just how rigid things are and how structured. I feel like kids shouldn't be structured. I feel like you should be, if anything, be structured like later in life. But like while you're a kid and while you're in your, you know, formative years, there shouldn't be any like labels or walls placed around you because it kills your imagination. That's one of the worst things that older people do to young kids is they kill their imagination. And how many kids are meant to do great things and be great artists and be Picassos or chase a dream or be super athletes, but society tells them that the most important thing they can do is get a good grade on their math test. And I just think that and that's just a whole other fucking problem right there. It's like with society, and I'm going off on a tangent here, but like, you know, one of the reasons why so many kids are prescribed Adderall, it's not because they have fucking ADD, it's because they don't like what they're learning. You know, or it's not the time for them to learn, you know? It's like I, as a creator, I work best when inspiration and creativity strikes. I can't block out time to go make a banging, you know, film. And it needs to be creativity. It's like the guy you told me the other day, the music artist. He's like, I can't block out times to go in the studio and make a hit. Like, they just have to come to me. And we do that with kids in school. Like, how are we saying, like, yo, you have to be on your best for Italian at this time. Then you have to be on your best for math at this time. Then you have to be on your best for history at this time. It's unfair. Yeah. It's not how it works. And then we also know about performance, right? Like, I know for a fact in my professional career, I can't shoot a podcast if I have bad sleep. And kids are getting bad sleep because these adults are prescribing them all this homework, and kids will stay up all night because they'll rush last second because they don't want to do it. And then they'll wake up the next day on 3 hours of sleep and have a shitty day in school. And then what's even worse is that teachers will devalue the kid with bad grades. A lot of time, I never had a teacher once, bro, that like came up to me and tried to like make a difference in my life. For real. I didn't have one teacher that would, because I was the bad student, I was almost labeled as the fuck up. Why waste time on the fuck up when I can go after the kid that has straight A's? And what's crazy is that the most successful people in society are the fuck ups, are the B, C, and D students. The people that are creative, that don't want to fit inside the mold. They don't want to fit inside the syllabus. Because greatness lies outside of the syllabus. So...
yeah, I mean, all of that was fucking spot on because I know that's how we've really been feeling lately. And my thoughts on that is the school system teaches obedience.
Yeah.
The school system is building you up to be a worker, not be a creator. Why do you think they have these agendas and these syllabuses that you have to follow? Because you're almost like a project, right? They're trying to see who can continue to keep painting the narrative of society. That's what the school system does. So they see if you can show up on time. They see if they can give you X amount of work, and if you can get it done in this amount of time to this degree, right? And then we question, why don't they teach us about taxes? Why don't they teach us about entrepreneurship? Why don't they teach us about the stock market? Why don't they teach us about real estate? Because what do all of those avenues do? Why is content creation not a thing taught in school now? Content creation is the most lucrative thing in the world right now. And why are these things not taught? Why? Because it does not fit their agenda. It doesn't create the working man or working woman anymore. It lets them go way beyond the standard that's set. And the school system is so broken. The school system is the only thing that has not evolved. Everything else in life has evolved. Business has evolved. Technology has evolved. Nutrition has evolved. The school system, you're still learning the same shit that they taught in the 2000s. Yeah, they might change a few math curriculums and what they teach in science, or they pull things out because now it's not appropriate, right? Like you have to be careful what you teach or what kids learn now. And they're literally just trying to create these factories, and it's all from the top down because the top wants to remain at the top. And how do they do that? They create all these little soldiers and robots to work under them, because what does that do? It makes them keep their businesses running. And what does their businesses do? It puts more money in their pocket while they just watch and they just fucking play with the puppets. Everyone else is just puppets.
Yeah.
And I get it, bro. I get the other side of it. Who's going to pay my bills? Who's going to do that? I know. I'm part of that too, right? Yeah. I'm part of that too. But that's the thing where you have to understand that you have to live well below your means if you want to do anything. Yeah. If you want to create your life, you have to probably eat shit for 3, 4, 5 years. You probably won't have a lot of money for that amount of time. You probably won't be able to get Poppy Steak or Komodo and see what the celebrities are doing. Oh, I see what these content creators doing. They're eating here. They're flying here. Yeah, you didn't you and I speak about it. Overnight success happens 5 years ago. It happens 5 years, and then boom, something clicks, and now everyone's like, yo, he blew up overnight. You didn't see when we're sleeping on the floor. You didn't see while I'm sleeping on a couch where I got to decide, do I want the blanket to cover my feet or cover my chest? You're fucking sleeping on the bed looking at me with my fucking big toe right next to your face because we got the couch and the bed on the floor right next to each other. They don't see that. They see Miami with a beautiful view. They see these great cameras. They see a nice T-shirt.
Handsome, the gifted, blessed guys, yeah.
That's what they see, but they don't see what's going on behind the scenes. Yeah. So I think that's a huge misconception when you are following your dream is people don't see the dirty work that goes on behind the scenes. Yeah. Because that shit, it's not easy, bro, but it's fucking worth it.
Wait for this boat to pass.
Yeah, you see.
Enjoy this scenic shot of Zach. Enjoy that shot. The boat go. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's spot on. Damn, we're ripping. This is good. I like the morning. I like the morning podcast, bro, on the coffee.
Yeah, we're sharp.
Yeah, very, very sharp. Because it's like, bro, like I do have strong points about a lot of these things, bro. Like I think the school system is fucking bullshit. Like, like I really do. I think it's fucking bullshit.
You and I saw it the other day. Any of you guys that follow Jake, I mean, you probably saw his story. I'm doing homework about Thomas Jefferson and Alexander Hamilton, writing letters to George Washington in the 1780s. And who do I think had the angrier letter? That's
Yeah.
what the fuck you're telling me?
Yeah.
How does that help me in any way of my life? How does that benefit me? How does that do anything? And mind you, this is coming from a 4.0 student.
Yeah.
I get all A's. And that's why I'm such a big advocate of saying that school teaches obedience. They give you something, and can you do it in this amount of time the way I want to do it? That doesn't mean I'm smart or educated on this stuff. I took a whole class on Italian. I got an A. I couldn't tell you one word.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. The school system is just so corrupted, and now people are going hundreds and thousands of dollars in debt.
Yeah.
You and I, fortunate enough, we're scholarship guys.
Yeah.
Athletics paved the way for us. It's the only reason you or I went to school.
Yep.
I would have went to the Navy or did some like military stuff just to not do school. I hated it. And I know all these people watching are hating it. Or hated it when they were in it.
Yeah, so I just think there's just so much evidence at this point that school is just not the way anymore. And I think more people are waking up to that. I think it's weird that people still defend it. I think it's pretty black and white that school is ridiculous. I think it's good. I think it's good for but even the networking and the communication skills, like it's not what it once was. I feel like, just because of the cell phone, like, you could choose to just stay in and stay isolated and stay in your dorm and not go out and not socialize. That's why I'm like almost an advocate of like, if I were to go to school or if I were to tell someone to go to school, the only reason the thing that I would do if I could go back to school is I would join a mega frat at like Miami University. And at least that way I'd be around people all the fucking time and I'm networking and like, yeah, I'm working on the most important skill is the networking. Like I've realized that from living in Miami. It's like if I had to give someone advice that was young, that wanted to become successful, about actual practical knowledge and information that I have as someone who is about to who already is massively successful, but as someone who is about to like blow the fucking lid off this bitch, I would say 1, the school system is fucking ridiculous. So spend less time on the grades, spend more time outside of school figuring out what you like to do. 2, try as many things as possible. 3, realize that entrepreneurship is dope. Like you could literally take anything in the world that you're passionate about and start a business, and it's really easy now. All you need is a website, a payment processor, and a service. And 4, I would say networking is everything. I would say honestly that cliche. I would say networking is realistically everything. It just takes one person to change your life. One person to change your life. And I would say 5, like if you're not where you want to be, it's not the fucking end of the world. Again, we saw someone this week who was 24 years old who already gave up because he has a kid. Yeah, it's going to be a little harder for that dude to follow his dreams because he does have a kid now and he does have responsibilities and he does have a mortgage, but it doesn't mean that he's impossible. You're 24 years old. So I would say that, like, I don't even know the order of which I gave it, but I did want to talk about when you were speaking. I wanted to talk about if you're hearing us, and I hope you're getting inspired and you're not getting discouraged, because sometimes that can happen with people that are successful. If you're not successful, you're looking at someone that's successful and you're just getting discouraged. It's not inspiring you, it's discouraging you because you can't even imagine. Right now you're living in your parents' basement. So even though you and I are saying that we're not on top of the world, we still look a lot further along than where maybe someone's at that's listening or watching this. So I would say to you guys, like, everyone's timeline is different. You need to be realistic and understand that like greatness takes time. And overnight success, like Zach said, takes 5 years. But I think the beautiful thing is understanding that if you do put 5 years into something, you will become extremely successful. I think if you just do your due diligence, I think if you're competent enough to get an A on a test or to have a 4.0 or even above a 3.0, if you have a goal, you can crush it. If you're just willing to not do what everyone else does, if you're just willing to wake up earlier than everyone else, if you're just willing to eat healthier than everyone else, if you're just willing to spend less time on your phone, if you're just willing to, like, think about the amount of time people spend studying in school. If you spent that much time building a business, you would be massively successful. I would argue that you could probably spend 30 minutes a day building a business. And after 5 years, it would add up, and at least it would be profitable. You know? It's just crazy to think about how people spend fucking 12 hours a day on school, right? And then spend 0 hours a day on building their dream. Like, how does that make sense? For 23 years. And then the thing that doesn't make any sense to me is people get out of college and then they go back to college to get a master's. And it's like, dude, like, you just learned that college didn't do anything for you. You just graduated. You got out of college. You have a degree. It's doing nothing for you. Why are you going back and getting into more debt? It's ridiculous. So, yeah, I think for the people listening, I think you guys have an incredible opportunity to hear these types of things and to be woken up to the fact that, like, there is a better way to live your life. And maybe if, you know, like, you need a little bit more of a customized plan, reach out to us. We'll see if we can help. But I think it also starts with accepting the fact that, like, nobody can change your situation but you. There's not a single person, and I know this because I've tried doing it a bunch of times, there's not a single person that can really help you but you. And if you don't want to make a change, nobody can do it for you. It's impossible to change someone else's life. It's impossible to inspire someone else. It all starts with you. So I think that, you know, again, I said it the other day, you have to realize that, you have the power to fuck up your life, but you also have the power to build a life that you want to live. So I think that responsibility is beautiful. It's everything. I think fuck the school system. I'm fucking proud of us for doing what we're doing. We're not going to take our foot off the gas at all. We're going to be doing a lot more for the community. You know, that's one thing that Zach and I talked about is we've been getting big boyed by fucking everyone and their mom and their fucking grandparents. It was a whole week of big boying. But it just takes one person to not big boy you and to take you serious to change your life. You know, and that's kind of what we saw. Like, our boy Neil gave us a shot. You know, he was on our episode 2 episodes ago. Our boy Neil, the biggest watch dealer in the world, gave us a shot. And, you know, maybe when you guys are seeing this, because we're a couple weeks in advance, I'm 100% sure that we're going to have a shot at doing a podcast with Gary Vee. You know, so...
Yeah. I had one thing that came to my mind, like with the stuff you were talking about when people, you know, they get discouraged rather than inspired. And I get like, when I watch the YouTube guys, when I watch Logan Paul, when I watch Jake Paul, when I watch Mike and Full Send and Bradley Martin, like, those guys inspire me because not saying I'm on their same level yet, but I know I can do what they do. And I'm not taking anything away from them, but I'm saying, like, I'm cut from the same cloth as these guys. And to me, I feel like I have even a bigger chip on my shoulder because of what I went through when I was a kid. And I get inspired because it just makes me it just keeps me in my own head where it's like, yo, this shit is possible. If they could do it, I could do it. Anything I've ever put my mind to, I was able to accomplish it. I've been driven enough since I was 12 years old to realize if I want to do something, I have the choice to make that happen. And everything I've ever wanted to do, I've accomplished. So I think what holds a lot of people back from that is they get overwhelmed of all the things that they have to knock off the checklist. A piece of advice that I would have that's worked for me is, bro, do a little bit at a time. If you want to start a business and you have all these things, website, logo, branding, YouTube, TikTok, all these things, right? Bro, do one thing at a day. Knock off 2 things. Knock off 1 thing a day. And then before you know it, a week goes by and all those things, that the list starts getting a lot smaller. And now you have the blueprint to your business, to your dream. And that's helped me so much, bro, because Starting a podcast, that's overwhelming. You need the equipment. You need to learn how to edit. You need to learn how to distribute. You need to learn YouTube. You need to learn TikTok. You need to learn how to speak better. You need to learn branding. You need to learn merch. Bro, there's 1,000 things that go into this. And this is just podcasting. I'm sure there's plenty of other things that people listening want to do that is even more intricate than podcasting. But it's baby steps, bricklaying, right? Like it's doing like little things at a time, just small wins, small wins. That's the idea of the compound effect. The compound effect is just such a powerful thing because you string together these small wins day by day, and then before you know it, you look back and you're like, damn, this is a massive W now. Now this is a big win. And then you just build off of those small wins to keep building bigger wins. Yeah. And I think that's been a huge part in our success. And by no means are we anywhere close to where we see this thing going. But we spoke about it last night right before we went to bed. We were like, bro, like, we're really probably going to have one of the biggest platforms in the world. Yep. And we truly believe it. We don't just say that. And it's going to be so cool. One of my best friends, KJ, I remember he commented on one of our videos. He was like, yo, it's crazy. Y'all are really saying this stuff before it happens.
I got the message today from that girl, you know, that was like speaking all about, you know, you have to like speak these things into existence, bro. There's just a lot of people, bro, that have like said to me, like, damn, like you literally said you were gonna do this, and I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So maybe that's your start if you're listening. Like, go make the craziest claim you could possibly make. Put it on your Instagram story.
Then you have to hold yourself accountable.
Yeah, that's it. So. Yeah, bro. I think that was a great app. I think we kind of cut it off on there. I want to say one more thing.
Yeah, bring us home.
Yeah, what Zach just said about taking things, you know, you can't, like, if you have this huge goal and you think about like how intricate and how crazy it would be to achieve the thing, you're never gonna do it. The only reason why I was able to learn videography, because there's so much things to learn. There's gimbals, there's drones, there's cameras, there's lenses, there's shutter speed, there's autofocus, there's camera movement, there's how to direct, there's, you know, how to get talent, how to book spaces to rent, blah, 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 whatever. The only reason, bro, why I was able to learn this shit was because I took on the beginner's mindset, you know? This quote changed my life. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, and in the master's mind, there are only few. And what's fun about having a few possibilities? You don't learn anything new. I think life is all about those aha moments, you know? That like, aha, like, I get it now. And that's the opportunity you have when you're a beginner, is you get aha moments all day long. So it's like, why do you want to be the best at something right off the bat? Because when you're the best, there's not much else for you to do. So it's like, be a beginner and be open to the fun of learning and meeting people and networking and falling on your face and then having that aha moment. And then teaching other people how to do what you did, and then you can inspire people, and now you're making the world a better place. It's like, I understand why Jordan Peterson speaks so highly of purpose and speaks so highly in purpose isn't having an aim, even if you're a gas station attendant. Because how you get out of becoming a gas station attendant, how do you move up in the world, is be the best goddamn gas station attendant you can be. You know, don't go to work with a fucking frown on your face, right? Like, show up, like, actually talk to people, like, be the best worker you can be. You never know, you can meet someone there, you can work on skills. Like, even if you're in a meaningless job right now, or you feel like it's a meaningless job, you know, it's like, are you making the most out of it? Are you showing up? You know, you can't get to a bigger place until you become bigger than the place you're already in internally, you know? So it's like, I think we've done an amazing job at that. Is like, we've always just shown up, and I think that the universe is rewarding us, and I think that that's something I want to get across to you guys listening and you guys watching, is you just have to show the fuck up in everything. I said it at the beginning of this podcast. To become successful in life, you need to every day needs to become a successful day. And success doesn't mean you have to conquer Rome, but it could mean like you just did the things that you said you wanted to do. You held promises to yourself that you said you were going to hold. You kept your word. You held the door open for an older lady. You know, you at least, maybe you didn't build your website, but you at least learned what the website builders were. So it's like, stop being fucking hard on yourself. Have a dream. Believe that it can be possible. Figure out the steps to achieve it. Realize majority of the people around you are fucking naysayers, and they do nothing to your life but fucking drag you down. And then do the work. And then listen to guys like us and be inspired by guys like us instead of fucking shitting on us in the comments. Because you're getting nothing out of that. And while you shit on us in the comments, we're fucking building the life that we want to live. Yeah. And it's like the time you spent talking shit, you could have spent, I don't know, reaching out to us or asking us how we did it. And we could have helped you or anyone in general. So, yeah, it was a good podcast. If you want to bring us home on anything. And
yeah, I'll bring us home with that. What you said about the naysayers. Like once you can get over the idea that nobody's opinion matters, and you need to stop doing what other people are telling you, especially when it comes from people that do what you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Why take advice from someone that you don't look up to, that doesn't do what you want to do in your life?
Yeah.
Everyone's a naysayer, bro. Nobody's going to believe your dream, and they shouldn't, because they should have their own dreams to believe in and to worry about.
Yeah.
It's good to have a good circle around you with people that hold you accountable, right, and are real with you, but also do believe in you. Because think about it. Like, for example, say you like that shirt, right? But say 100 people say, yo, I hate that shirt. It might kind of change your mind a little bit of how you look at that shirt. Right. Whether you think it will or not, it will. So now imagine you telling someone your dream and 100 people tell you that dream is stupid. Now internally you're gonna think, damn, maybe this isn't my dream. But you have to remember, if you love what you do and you love your dream, that's the only thing that matters.
That's incredible, bro. I do want to say one more thing.
Yeah.
That was incredible, by the way. I love that. The most liberating thing, like, you have to realize that there's such a small percentage of people that follow their dreams. So the most liberating thing in the world is when you realize that majority of the people around you are naysayers, and they're going to talk shit about your dreams, and they're not going to be following their dreams. So consider yourself just alone. Because once you're alone, now you have nothing to do but just put the fucking work in. And that's how, and I think it's just so liberating, is like, because there's so many people that listen to this podcast that want more out of their lives. And it's like, dude, like, and it fucks them up, because people want to have good people around you. And the way to get good people around you is to live the best life you can think of. Because usually the best people in life are the people that are also following their dreams. So, hey, if you don't have good people around you, it's because not everyone else is just a fucking naysayer. So, like, I think it's just so liberating to say, hey, I'm fucking alone. I'm alone. And the only thing that I have to do now is just put the fucking work in.
Last thing,
Yeah.
It's almost like I look around, and you could take this how you want it, take it with a grain of salt. I look around, and I do see a lot of NPCs, to me, like robots, zombies. I said it in a clip before. Yeah. It's like, I look around, it's like, yo, there's not that much competition.
Yeah.
There's not that much competition. If you really put the work in, people do not work hard. Yeah. People do not have the same work ethic as me. So I'm like, this is what I'm up against, and you should feel the same way too. Because if you are anything like us and self-motivated and have something that drives you, it's like, yo, you can be part of that 1% so much easier than a lot of other people. Because a lot of people are not woke to this mentality yet, and haven't decided to live outside the matrix, right? Escape it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know we sound like broken records, but we're just trying to relay this narrative, because this essentially will make the world a better place.
Yeah, and by you doing all the things that we speak about, like, you're going to find your tribe, you're going to find your community. Like, the odds of your community, like, being from the same town as you, like, it's just not the case. You know, the world is so big, and, like, you find people by doing the things that you love to do and by being a good person. So, like, I think so many people, in my opinion, are afraid to be alone. And I think that we need to change that narrative and realize, like, when you're alone is some of the best time you have, because that's when you're not influenced by anyone else. And then, like you said, people are impressionable and like they'll literally give up on their dreams because other people around them are projecting their fears and their insecurities on you. So like once you realize you're alone, if you just find solace in that, you find grace in that, and you meditate, like you'll find it's your responsibility as a person to not sit around and complain about being lonely. It's your responsibility to go out and find your community. And you find your community by not hanging around the wrong people, because you're wasting your time. So and obviously again, being a broken record by following your dreams. So yeah.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, if you want to follow your dreams, there's going to be a block in time where you are alone.
Yeah.
And you have to embrace being alone, because being alone is the best thing for you.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us on another episode of the Journey Pod. What happened?
No, you're good.
Oh.
Bring us home.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Journey Podcast. This ends our week in Miami, and it looks like, I mean, we'll see what happens. We've been talking about planning and how kind of stupid it is because you never really know what's going to happen. But it looks like we're going to be moving back out here. By the time you guys see this episode, it'll be, I don't know, 3 weeks from now, maybe early in April. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for watching. It really means a lot to us. If we at all sound like broken records, I'm sorry, but this is, what's been kind of heavily on our mind, and I look forward to what we're going to do on the future. And I think I want to hold myself accountable in the next 3 weeks to getting Gary Vee on. I'm gonna manifest that right now by saying in the next 3 weeks I'm gonna take actionable steps to get Gary Vee on this podcast, because we want you guys to hear the conversation that we can have with him and all these other amazing guests that we can have on. So thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you a ton. Much love, and have a beautiful day.
Now I'm going to push Jake in the water.
Yep. Jesus Christ.